My lady, the new choir boys have arrived as you requested, although they do seem a bit odd.
Come on, man, there ain't nothing weird going on, and I don't know what you're talking about, crazy Pope man over here now.
Very well, Lady Saint. Very well.
On YouTube, it's your boy, the Memphis XLR8, welcoming you back to the 100 Days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where every day for 100 days, we're taking a look at a different deck every single day. Today, everybody, is the 54th day, and it's very late where I am, so I had to be very much quiet today. I gotta be as quiet as I can possibly be, because it's very late and everyone's asleep. So, today, everybody, is the 54th day. We are playing ourselves a nice little combination of cards. We're playing a combination of the Volcanics and the Dogmatika. It's the Church of Fire and Brimstone today. We're going to be sanctifying our opponents with holy fire and all that good stuff. And so we got ourselves our deck here today. We're on masterduel just because I wanted to break from yugioh Pro and the folk that are on there. So I decided to just play it on masterduel today, just because I happen to have the cards as well. So we have ourselves our deck here today. We're going to be showing off the combos and the wombos, the what do's and the what not do's, and have ourselves a good old time. A big shout out to Mr. Hardy Bro, who asked us today to take a look at the Volcanic Dogmatikas. So, as always, if you want the whole deck list, it'll be at the end. For now, don't forget to hit all the buttons, the likes and the comments and the description. Hit the comments, hit up the subscription button, all that good stuff. And enough talking, let's get right into the action. Alright, everybody, it's time for our first opponent. Another day and another card game. We're going second, and it's going to be an interesting opening hand here. Let's see here. My opponent did nothing. Okay, interesting enough. But we have a very Dogmatika hand. So I guess we'll be starting with that. I do have fire recovery for later. Let's see. Summons them also from the deck of the extra deck. And Naxianta. Okay. I see where this is going. Okay. You'll want to do a little bit of both. Cool, I guess. But okay. Let's go ahead and just start out nice and simple with the Dear Servant. We'll ditch ourselves a Garura, as we like to do. I already have Maximus, so I'll just search out Ecclesia the Virtuous. I might just keep things nice and simple since my opponent, doubled up on that. So, yeah, I think that's probably the safest bet. So we're going to normal summon Ecclesia the Virtuous. When she is normal summoned or special summoned, I can just add myself a Dogmatika card. So we'll get Fleur de Lis. I'll set Punishment. And let's just attack our opponent and see what happens. I don't need to overcomplicate things if I don't need to. My opponent wants to be complicating things, but I literally don't need to. So let's go ahead and end our turn for now and see where this goes. As we go, we will get back into our volcanic stuff as well. I already have Scattershot, which is very nice. I wish I could send him to the grave with this Ablaze Accelerator, but sadly I cannot. Interesting. Rageki, you say? Okay. Still not sure what my opponent's playing at this point. This is masterduel. Things are a little bit crazier than yugioh Pro, considering everyone's trying to rank up and get whatever you get for ranking up. I'm not even sure what you get for ranking up, really. Not especially. Oh my goodness, he's just gonna keep doing that, isn't he? Alright, well, thankfully, I am patient as the Buddha. Therefore, I can normal summon and keep attacking. I don't need to overcomplicate, so let's go ahead with this one, barring that being in perm, which I was actually surprised it was not in perm. And I'm just going to keep attacking my opponent. Like I said, I can keep things nice and simple. I don't need to do anything overly complicated. I'm wasting all of my opponent's hand traps, as they clearly have nothing else they can do. And we will set fire recovery so I don't have to discard anything. And we'll end our turn. And next turn we can start doing some crazy stuff. because that is what this deck likes to do. We like to do some crazy stuff. Good old Dogmatic Maximus is here on our hand. You know, I can ditch the cards from my extra deck to the graveyard, force my opponent to do the same. And then we're going to go with Albazoa. The nice synergy we have here between these two archetypes is really the fact that none of our archetypes care about the extra deck all that much. You know, Volcanics don't really care about the extra deck. Dogmaticas like to use it for like other things, but they don't really need it. Hello, Volcanic Emperor. Oh, I wish I could summon you right now, my brother. But let's go ahead and go for Maximan. See where this is gonna go. Because at this point, he's used up most of his hand trap, unless he's just been holding on to the last one here. But we should be good here. Good old Maximan. Both players must now ditch 2 cards from the extra deck. Any monster sent to the grave is banished instead. Oh. Okay. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. Is that a normal... Okay. I mean, if that's the case, I'll just get rid of cards I don't need. You know? Again, my opponent really just wants to, like, dumb down this duel. I mean, okay, I guess. I mean, do you have extra deck things you want banished? Oh my... Wait, this was Dogmatica this whole time. Oh, my man. My brother, you are just in a lot of trouble. You are just in a world of hurt now. Now, this will just be pretty much Dogmatica this first duel, but, you know, we got our Albazoa. He looks pretty good on Master Duel. And we're just going to go ahead and make my opponent get rid of, you know, half of their extra deck now. That is something we have been able to do, and that's what we're going to do. And now that you've used your gate here, your ground, whatever it is, everything you send to the grave will be banished. Oh my goodness. That tickles me. I wish I could scream out loud at how much that tickles me. Because it's like, my opponent wants to dumb everything down, and yet here I am just wiping out their extra deck. Let's see. What do I want to get rid of? That is a good question. I mean, he has 2 of this. Snake Eyes have a fusion? I didn't know that. Azamina or Azamina? I guess this one. I don't think it matters too much either way. But let's go ahead into the battle phase. Hit him for 4,000, and we should be pretty set. You know, don't need to do much else. And if I can ever get into Volcanic Emperor, I can just burn my opponent down to the cinders if I need to. So, yeah, pretty much this is classical Dogmaticas. And this is just what happens when you have, like, you start with one archetype over the other, which happens sometimes, but, you know, we still have all of our volcanic things. I mean, they're clearly ready, raring to go. So, what can my opponent do is a very good question. I mean, he's lost almost every card in his extra deck. He only has, like, very silly things left. Okay, my opponent won't... Huh. Alright. I figured that was going to be the end of it. Okay. But let's go ahead and at least summon a volcanic onto the board. I want to make sure my little buddies here get some action here. So we'll use our Maximus just to continue the extra deck annihilation that's going on. So we'll send Herald and Pegasus, I guess. It really doesn't matter who. Just so I can show, like, this is what Dogmaticas are all about, you know? They're all about using our extra deck and just annihilating the opponents. That is what they do. Pachamba. This is a very simple mate, but I actually kind of like it. I wish you had like a little flamethrower thing, like back and forth. Little but that's okay. But this is exactly what I want our deck to do. You know, Albazoa, absolutely insufferable monster if your opponent cares for their extra deck. And to be honest, my opponent did kind of mess himself up by sending everything to the banish pile and all that good stuff. Not that it would have mattered if he had them in the grave, I don't think, but you never know. Hard to say. Hard to say indeed. But this is a perfect illustration of what the game is like if your opponent cares too much about, you know, if they care too much about hand traps and things. You know what I mean? Because if this guy had played a little less Mulcharmy and Max C, he might have stood a chance. I'm just saying. But, like, what did this guy actually play in this duel? He played 1 Mulcharmy, 2 Max C's, 1 Regeki, 1 Lightning Storm, and 1 floodgating trap. No combo starters or nothing. So it was really on my opponent. They kind of shot themselves in the foot. So let's go ahead and go into duel number 2, because I feel like, you know, this duel's over. The only thing that's really going to happen is I'm going to lead off with Scattershot, so that at least Volcanics get some blood on them. But we're going to go into duel number 2, show more what this deck can do, because we haven't even seen the Volcanic side of things, and I really want to see that merging of both archetypes where everything becomes just absolutely beautiful. Alrighty, second opponent. Let's go and do it again. Alright, what do we have here? It's an interesting opening hand. Certainly an interesting assortment. Since we did the Dogmatics last time, let's go ahead and start off with the Volcanic lineup and see where this is going to go. This way I can just immediately search out my accelerator here and get things nice and set up. We'll activate our Blaze Accelerator, which sadly this does not let me normal summon like Ecclesia, but you know, it's okay. It doesn't have to. Fire Ejection. An interesting choice, to be certain. An interesting choice, to be certain. Let's go ahead and use our Volcanic Trooper here. I don't think I need to use Ejection, so I'm just going to go ahead and ditch that for now. Although, okay, good. I was about to say. See, we'll give this guy a token, as we do. And if he had Imperm, it's no longer be accessible to him. Can't use no Imperms now. So let's go ahead and destroy this token by ditching Rimfire from our deck to the graveyard. This way we can do as Volcanics like to do. You know, pop, burn. We'll banish Rimfire so that I can send another Volcanic to the graveyard, and that'll get me nice and start up in that respect. So let's go ahead and send our big boss, which is Volcanic Emperor. And he's just a big old honking fiery dude. Now that's kind of like the thing in this deck. It's like, on one hand, we have the church and all of their holy antics, and the evil giant monster pope, and then on the other hand we got Volcanics with giant fiery fireman of doom. Ooh, scare. Yeah, that's essentially what Volcanics are all about. So let's go ahead. Let me think about this actually. Yeah, we'll get Volcanic Inferno. I am going to have to do some costly things to make this first turn work, but I think I can still make it work pretty good. What does he have? Hard to say. We're going to use Accelerator here. I do get to summon out another Volcanic if I like to. I don't really like wasting my Trooper, but in order to get, you know, my Inferno working, I need Volcanics in the grave, and at the moment I don't have any. So we'll summon a Key to the Fire Charmer. Just a nice little monster to have on the board. You can also go for like Doolittle Chimera, but you know, this works just as well. Because if it saves the board, I can just get another Volcanic. Oh hey, that's right, I have a link. So this is it. This is what I'm talking about. This is the combination of both worlds. Come forth, Ecclesia the Virtuous. And with that, I can get myself a Dogmatic Punishment. I can also just get like Dogmatic Matrix too. But I feel like this will work just as well. You know, no need to fully telegraph what we're up to. So we'll set a card and we will end our turn. So this, I would like to say, is like a very good way to say we're combining both archetypes now. You know, we've got Heaven and Hell on the board at the same time. You know, we have the Virtuous Saint and the giant Beastie Boy. You know, it's what I like to see. Good old Beastie Boy here. Inflicts 500 damage to my opponent every time they special summon something. Very nice card against, like, you know, special summon spamming archetypes. Although this appears to be Paleos, or possibly Labyrinth. Dragonmaids. Durgan-Churgans? Okay. Remind me what this one does. Adds a Dragonmaid and sends a monster. Nah. Let's go ahead and just, you know, use this effect. I'm going to banish one of my Pyros. That'll negate his Dragonmaid. Because he already set these, so he can't do anything about it. Big 500, negate the Dragonmaid. All right, so this is Dragonmaids. Okay, interesting. It's interesting because, you know, I don't remember Dragonmaids really having a focus on anything set-worthy other than tidying. How could you? He's banishing my other trooper. But that's okay, actually, because thanks to Inferno, in the end phase, I will be able to recover 2 of my banished cards to the bottom of my deck. So that'll work. Battle phase. You have nothing to battle phase with, my friend. I'm sorry. Alright, so now in the end phase. Yeah, we'll go ahead and Dogmatic Punishment. I don't trust this guy at all. So let's go ahead and ditch Intis. That way, Intis will pop a random card on my opponents. Let's see what we hit. Torrential? Not bad. Not a bad hit. So now we know this dude is playing with fire, or rather the water that would douse the fire of my ambition. So I gotta be careful about that. Because I can recover Volcanic Emperor, but at the same time, ooh, Foolish Barrel Goods is very nice. Oh. Whoa, I just realized something cool I can do. Okay, so let's go ahead and Foolish Barrel Goods. This is one of the better cards in the deck, because this lets me set up my Regeki. So we're going to send our Blaze Accelerator Reload to the graveyard for now. I'll have that nice and set up. And I could use it, but there's no point to doing that. So, let's leave Ecclesia in defense for now. The fact that he has Torrential, I do need to worry about a little bit. For now. For now. So let's see what this guy's got. Does he have like Mirror Force or something? Maybe. Wouldn't put it past him. But let's attack with everything here. We should be pretty set. Ah, I knew it. I knew he had something. Oh. Oh, that hurt my feelings. Okay. Well, my snarky remarks aside, let's see here. I mean, we're pretty set. I mean, I could steal his Dragonmaid, so why not? Let's see if this is good for us or not. I shall steal your Dragonmaid, because that's what Hita allows me to do. Just a funny little interaction. I can just steal a fire monster. So this is mine now. Okay, he did not have Torrential. Good. Alright, we're good. So let's just end our turn for now and see where this goes. You know? I'm in a pretty good position. I mean, my opponent has nothing, which is great for me, bad for them. I do appreciate they're playing very old school decks here. This is a very strange Dragonmaid deck, to be honest, but you never know. He might top deck into, like, Chambermaid, which would be not great for... I can see the future. The future is now. Also, I'm activating my Fleur-de-Lis Knighted. I shall special summon this from my hand and negate my opponent's thing. Because that is what Fleur-de-Lis allows me to do. See, this is just as impressive as the real world church. I shouldn't say that. The church does good work, I think, as far as I'm aware. So, I mean, our church is doing some good work. I'm negating the Chambermaid. As Sir Memphis would say, that is a heretical heresy, or something like that. And yeah, my opponent will surrender at that point. Understandable, but this is what our board looks like when we get, like, all the good stuff. We got all of our Volcanics on the board. We got all of the Dogmaticas on the board. And I could have gone for Albalos if I'd really wanted to, but I really just didn't feel like doing it. So, good for Duel 2. We have time for one more today, so let's go ahead into that and show off just a little bit more what this deck can do. We've shown off a good chunk of it, but I want to just do it one more time because that's what we do. So, let's go for one more and have ourselves a good match. Alrighty, everybody, it's time for the third opponent, to the fight in third. And let's see what we have for an opening hand. It's going to be an interesting affair. Okay, 46 card deck, interesting choice. But what does our hand look like? I mean, I've got my Volcanic Trooper, which is always good. We have our Blaze Accelerator Reload, so that's a pretty good discard for Trooper. Okay. It's a hand with a lot of little things to it, so let's see where this is going to go. we'll start off, of course, with our Volcanic Trooper. Best starter for Volcanics ever. And depending on what my opponent's got, will depend on what we're going to do. All right, very good. So, as always with this deck, we do want to search out our Accelerator. This is just an amazing, it's an amazing card. When Volcanics did get their support, let me tell you, it was a really good feeling that day. Because good old Pain 96, remember that guy? Everyone remembers that, man. We will always remember him. Because he waited so long for Volcanics. Just like we got a guy on our channel, Mr. Cloranus. He's waiting for Venoms. Not as long as Pain just yet, but he's getting close. He's getting there. One of these. Oh, I hope he doesn't have to wait that as long as Pain did, but we'll see. But anyway, we'll go ahead and use our Accelerator here. We're going to go ahead and pop the token. Pretty much just a thing we do. Like this is like a cursory thing. You know, you pop the token. You pop the token so that Rimfire can evolve like a Pokemon. Just banish him from the graveyard. There's other things I could set up counter if I really wanted to. I always like to run one counter in my Volcanic decks. You know, it's like, why not? Why shouldn't I run one copy of counter? Alright, well, we'll be all set up here. We got our Volcanic Emperor. And because I don't have a lot of graveyard at the moment... Oh. Draco Utopian Aura. Ouchie. I mean, that's unfortunate, but I can bring that guy back later. It's all good. It's fine. Let's go ahead and just battle phase then. Okay. Like the hustle. Okay, so this guy didn't banish a monster. I guess he... No. I guess he couldn't steal Emperor. Otherwise, he probably would have. Alright. Oh, you son of a biscuit. I know what you're about to do. You think I'm unwise to what you're about to do? Yeah, okay. Okay, well, you know what? In this one instance, we're going to keep punishment because I can use the darn thing. Let's see where this goes from here. I mean, now I need a monster on the board. Fiery... Oh, wait, I thought I only had one of this. Huh. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Let's see here. That is really frustrating. One, because I swore I only had one copy of this. Two, because, well, my opponent's just doing annoying stuff again. This is, you know, yugioh Pro is also annoying at times because people get to play with like all the newest things, and so it's a total insane asylum over there. But here on masterduel, everyone's so worried about like ranking up and things that this tends to be like a norm, is like a lot of negate and things. So now we finally know what my opponent's playing. He's playing some Galaxy Eyes. Okay. I do play like one number monster, so he could steal that if he wanted to. But we'll see where this is going to go. We'll wait for him to establish a few monsters on the board, like after he plays Expedition or something of that nature. That way, I can use my Blaze Accelerator, get off the ultimate Volcanic combo. Or conversely, I can just do this, which also works. All right. All right, Albazoa, I need you back on the board for a bit. Hope you don't mind, sir, but you're about to be annihilated. Because now I've got Albazoa. What say ye to that? You got something for that? Yeah, get rid of half of your extra deck here. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure... I'm almost 100% sure that Galaxy Eyes can survive half of their extra deck going away, because half of their extra deck is just like funny text. The other half is the part that I'm worried about. But this will get rid of a good chunk of his extra deck. I still have my field nuke set up. Lulu will get me my Ecclesia in the end phase. That'll be something. So I'm pretty set. You know, this is the problem with masterduel players. They're so gung-ho about negating stuff sometimes that like they forget to play. But us, I don't care about my ranking up at all. I just want to like play the game. Okay. Summon back Photon Emperor. What does this do? Let's see. Send to the graveyard. Summon this card. Okay, he would get an order to summon if he had one. Cool. Let me think about this. Let me think about that. I think I'm just going to attack for now. I don't need to overcomplicate things, like I said. So, let's beat over the Photon Emperor. He'll stay in the graveyard now. We'll end our turn, and Lulu will activate its effect. And we should be relatively good here. I mean, yeah, he's got his galaxy eyes and all that good stuff. But the big thing about this... yeah, let's get Maximan. Why not? What did he even send to the graveyard? Okay, interesting choices. Interesting choices. Yeah, but like the big thing about Galaxy Eyes is like they need to build a whole bunch of monsters, and my opponent apparently doesn't have any. Oh, my foolish fool opponent. How foolish you were. I mean, I almost feel bad here because like we're getting to see a little bit of volcanic action, but my opponents are just not doing much. Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know what? This will be a little long today, but I think we've earned one more duel. You know, why the heck not? I mean, with things like that happening, I think we deserve one more chance to see the Volcanics and the Dogmatika on the board at the same time. So let's try for one more. Alrighty, everybody, the fourth and final duel of the day. We're going second, which isn't necessarily what we want to do, but this opening hand's actually an interesting one, so we'll see where this is going to go. Let's see here. Okay. My opponent's got those weird... What do you call these kinds of sleeves? Like the graffiti sleeves? Always kind of like these. They kind of look like Pokemon badges to me. But we're up against some sort of zombie deck, which could literally mean anything. Let me think. I'm going to activate Dogmatika Matrix. I'm sorry, my man, but you have a monster, therefore I get my ritual and my spell. So you might be in for some trouble there, depending on what this is. Good old shooting doji. Just reminds me that I have a yokai deck to build in the near future. Pardon? A Poopus. It's not even the one that searches stuff. Yes, I would... Oh, almost. Almost wrong card. I mean, I could add whatever I'd like. That is true. But, come on. I'm gonna get the big guy on the board. So let's go ahead and use Lulu here. And I think I'll get rid of one of my own extra deck cards here, because that is what Dogmatika Matrix can do. So I'm going to ditch my own Garura so that I can draw another card. Really just hoping to get like a volcanic monster. Okay, it's not quite a volcanic monster, but we'll see where this is going to go. Let's go ahead and get rid of our card there. Let's see here. Alright, I can just summon out Emperor from my hand. I almost forgot I can do that. Alright. I mean, this won't do much, but there's nothing better than seeing both boss monsters on the field at the same time. Come on. Alright, so we'll go ahead and use Accelerator's effect. I'm going to destroy your embodiment of a Poopus by ditching Rimfire. This will also book for Rimfire because I might as well send that counter to the graveyard. Because why the heck not? Just get him set up for later. Alright. So let's go ahead and battle phase our opponent. I could wipe out half his extra deck, but part of me doesn't want to. I don't know why. I mean, that's just kind of what you do in this deck sometimes, but at the same time. I mean, Lulu's gonna get me stuff at the end. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, this one time we will not wipe out half my opponent's extra deck. What can I say? I just don't feel like it. But Ecclesia will be on the board. And we'll be pretty set. Let's go ahead and get our Fleur de Lis. And we'll be pretty set. I'm confident with this board we are set. Because I've got my Emperor with his soft floodgatey thing. Every time he special summons, he takes 500. So he gets basically 4 special summons here. Oh! Okay. I'm starting to fall better in love with the Master Duel players on the EDO Pro base. Nobody on EDO Pro would play Fissure. This guy I like. I like this dude. He's a cool dude. Best dude out of 10. Alright, out of respect, I will not drag this out. So let's... Oh, wait. We have two bosses. Who attacks first? Volcanic Emperor, I guess. Alright, but that is what the deck wants to do, folks. And yeah, a bit of an anticlimactic final duel, but at the same time, when was the last time you saw Fissure played? So let's go ahead for the end screen. We'll talk more about this deck here. Alrighty, everybody. So our Dogmatika Volcanic deck went 4-0 today, which is actually a little better than I was expecting. It's actually a lot more calmer on Master Duel than I realized. I mean, EDO Pro could be pretty nutty at times, so I was thinking Master Duel would be a lot more try-hardy, but you know what? People are actually pretty chill tonight, so we got to show off what this deck wants to do. You know, it's pretty simplistic when you get down to it. You're just trying to do the Volcanic thing, pop and burn your opponent. You go for the Dogmatika thing, and have nothing but contempt for your opponent's extra deck. So that is what our deck wanted to do today, and we had ourselves a good time with it. We got to do almost everything in this deck, pretty much. Pretty much everything. I mean, we don't summon out of the extra deck, really, so we got to do pretty much everything in the deck, so I'm happy with it. I guess the only thing we didn't get to do is Scatter Shot, but my opponents didn't really give me an opportunity to do that today, unfortunately, but that's okay. You know, sometimes you get everything, sometimes you don't, but Scatter Shot was always ready to do his thing. So thank you everybody for watching. If you did enjoy it, smack the like button, consider subscribing if you haven't, and here is our deck profile for our Dogmatika Volcanics. So for our main deck, we played 2 copies of Shell. I find 2 in this build is just as good, considering it's not a pure volcanic deck and we don't want to brick all this thing, so 2 is good. 2 copies Rimfire. We just send this to the graveyard. We can banish it. We can either activate a Blaze Accelerated card, or we can just, you know, get ourselves another Volcanic in the grave. Triple Scatter Shot, because in no build of Volcanics do you ever play less than 3 of this thing. Because if I banish off my reload, or just send this to the graveyard with one of my Blaze Accelerators, I can ditch the other 2 copies from hand or deck, burn my opponent for 500 apiece, and nuke my opponent's board. It's the most common thing you think about with Volcanics, and that's what we love to do. 1 copy of Counter, which I just like to play because, you know, every once in a while, why the heck not? You take damage. Counter's going to make it sure your opponent takes the same amount of damage. So this can make your opponent think twice about attacking you directly. We have 3 copies of our Volcanic Truva, because he lets me summon out my Blaze Accelerator cards and lets me discard cards for bomb tokens. 2 copies of Rocket. You know, usually you played 3, but the deck got a little space constrained, so you know, I played 2 copies of Rocket. It lets me search out Blaze Accelerator cards when it's summoned. It's a good guy to have on the board as well. 3 copies of Dogmatika Ecclesia the Virtuous. This is our main start 'em up for our Dogmatika package. Just trying to, you know, summon itself out, search out other Dogmatikas, things like Fleur de Lis especially, but sometimes you're going to go for punishment, whatever you need. 1 copy of Fleur de Lis, because if you have a Dogmatika, you can summon it from the hand, negate a monster's effect. Pretty darn useful card. Good old Maximus, who I just removed from the deck by mistake. 1 second. Yeah, but Maximus is like another go-to sort of card in this deck, where you can banish an extra deck monster from the graveyard, summon him out, and then once returned, both players send 2 cards from extra deck to the grave. You know, sets up things. You can ditch Garura, you can ditch your Herald to search your ritual, ditch Intis to pop things, ditch Wind Pegasus, all sorts of stuff you can do with this card. 1 copy of Emperor as our boss of the Volcanics. Pretty simple to summon out by banishing a Blaze Accelerator or 3 Pyros. Burns the opponent when he's summoned out for every banished Pyro. Burns your opponent when they special summon stuff. Searches the trap cards when he burns the opponent the first time. It's a very nice card. We also have Albazoa, which is immune to extra deck monster effects, and it also can just have your opponent's extra deck, or if they happen to have an extra deck monsters on the board, forces your opponent to send them all back to the extra deck, whichever they'd like to do. It gives your opponent choices, of course, choices. So yeah, those are our 2 bosses. And for our spells, we have Foolish Burial for sending whatever we need to the graveyard. Goods is really good. If you're playing in like the TCG, not Master Duel, you want to play at least 2 copies of this, because sending your, you know, Accelerator Reload to the grave is really good in this deck. But this is Master Duel, so you know, we have 1 barrel goods. We have 2 Nadir Servant for starting up our Maximus combo, sending things like Garura, very nice. We have 1 copy of Fire Ejection, which is basically Foolish Burial, but for volcanic specifically. So it's a nice thing for starting up like volcanic rimfire, etc., etc. Burns the opponent, summons bomb tokens, whatever we need to do. 2 copies of Bonfire, because unfortunately, because of Snake Eyes, this is at 2 on Master Duel. But it lets you search out any of your volcanics, so that's what you want to do. Well, it doesn't search out like our boss, but that's okay. We have 1 copy of Fire Recovery, which I took out the other one to replace it with the Foolish, because this is just a good card. Target a fire in the graveyard, ditch a card, bring it back, banish this thing, get back 3 of your banished fire monsters back into the deck, resets your scatter shots. We have 1 Dogmatic Calamity as our ritual spell. We have 2 Blaze Accelerators, the original, because we needed to activate our better accelerator. We have our 1 Dogmatic Matrix to search out our ritual. 2 copies of Punishment to, as the name implies, punish the opponent. 1 copy of Emission, because it lets me summon out a volcanic from the deck, which normally I'd be playing Doomfire, but not in this particular build. But I can just burn my opponent for half the attack of my Emperor, so that's something. 2 Accelerator Reloads. You banish this thing from the grave, ditch your scatter shot, nuke your opponent's board, burn them, or just once per turn, ditch a volcanic like Shell, and just draw another card. Nice little thing to have. And then lastly, we have Inferno, just to burn my opponent a little bit more, negate their effects, that sort of thing. As for the extra deck, you never summon like any of these monsters basically, but we're playing a couple copies of Ventis to pop my opponent, Garura to draw cards when it's sent to the grave. We got Titanic Lab. If you happen to want Ecclesia when we're going into Maximus combo, this will summon out Ecclesia during the end phase. 2 Heralds, so I can get my ritual stuff. I've got my Wind Pegasus, so if I take damage, a monster will be spun back into the deck. Lulu, which is the main thing for Calamity, which will also summon Ecclesia. 1 Baguska, just on the very odd chance we need the darn thing. It's like the only extra deck monster we'd ever actually bother summoning. Mirological Aggregator, another good target for our punishment, because I can negate cards when it's sent to the graveyard. Zeus is here in the off chance you go into Baguska. We have Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze, which is just a nice monster to have. It's destroyed, I can search out another fire monster, all the good stuff. And I can also steal fire monsters as well. It's pretty cool. We have 1 Masquerena to go with our Unicorn, because that's like a basic link combo there. And then 1 Little Knight, just in case you need the darn thing. But like I said, you almost never do. So that was today's deck, everybody. I hope you very much enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like button and all the good stuff on your way out. And for tomorrow, I actually have to double check what tomorrow is. We're playing Heraldics, specifically around number 69. So that will be tomorrow. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Your boy Memphis signing out. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Till then, stay safe and happy, and you have a good one. Take care, everybody.